Ladies and gentlemen, did you know one meeting reshaped an entire world? Enter the Tehran Conference of 1943, a monumental gathering that redefined history. Imagine a time when the outcome of World War II hung in the balance, uncertainty clouding the fate of nations. This was the stage for an unprecedented meeting in the heart of Tehran, Iran. Presidents, generals, and strategists of the greatest wartime alliance converged in secrecy, united by a common goal: to defeat the Axis powers and shape the post-war era. The story unfolds with three of history's most charismatic leaders: US President Franklin D. Roosevelt, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and the formidable Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin. Together, these men formed the Big Three and represented the might of the Allied nations. Their meeting in Tehran was the genesis of profound decisions that would alter the trajectory of the war itself. Conflict brewed within the walls of the Tehran summit. Stalin, battle-worn from the Eastern Front, demanded another front to alleviate Soviet soldiers bearing the brunt of Nazi aggression. Roosevelt and Churchill faced the strategic dilemma: where would they launch this second front? The Mediterranean had been tempting, yet Stalin's persistence for a Western European assault proved the crucial pivot. The discussions heated, tensions simmered, and amid this backdrop, the vision for the Normandy landings, D-Day, came into existence. Roosevelt recognized the high stakes, his resolve fueled by the necessity to uphold an unyielding Allied front. Churchill, the eloquent strategist, understood the weight of history's gaze. With resilience, Roosevelt and Churchill ultimately agreed to Stalin's insistence. It was a pivotal decision, entailing a daring seaborne assault across the English Channel. In the months following the Tehran Conference, these diplomatic agreements became tangible plans. By June 6, 1944, the world bore witness to Operation Overlord, marking an unyielding turning point in World War II. Normandy was the crucible, forging a path that ultimately crumbled the pillars of the Third Reich itself, each step of the way. The Tehran Conference, however, wasn't solely about battle plans. Conversations delved deeper into the threads of a post-war fabric. Roosevelt was keen on founding an international organization, a precursor to what would become the United Nations in 1945. Churchill poised to preserve Europe's balance, wary of Soviet expansion. Behind the veil of diplomacy lay intense relational dynamics. Roosevelt's ability to harmonize the ambitions of Stalin and Churchill underscored his diplomatic prowess. For Stalin, it was assurance of Allied support. For Churchill, it was a cautious eye on Soviet ambitions. The Tehran Conference, therefore, wasn't just military blueprinting. It was the sculpting of a new world order, redefining alliances, envisioning peace. Stalin succeeded in dividing German forces. Roosevelt laid visions of cooperative futures, while Churchill strived to maintain his nation's influence. This summit was pivotal, a testament that in the theater of war, strategic foresight rivals firepower itself. The commitment to collaboration, forged in Tehran, shaped not only the remaining wartime years, but also the socio-political tapestry that still defines today's global alliances. So when speaking of monumental wartime decisions, recollect the Tehran Conference, where three men in a room indelibly etched their names into the very annals of history.